you may be asking yourself, who is this guy and what makes him such an expert? Well, I'm far from an expert, but I can honestly say I think I'm familiar with the subject matter. I happen to hold a commercial pilot certificate. I've owned a few airplanes. I was an active flight instructor for 16 years, and I currently hold a small unmanned aerial vehicle certification. In other words, I've got a drone license. I've been shooting video for our YouTube channel for about 3 years, and before that I shot a lot of video during our travels, well before the concept of the internet and YouTube even existed. So I'm pretty up to speed on the subject matter. So in this video I want to cover a couple of topics. Number one, why you may want to consider using a drone for your video footage, whether it be just for your home movies for you and your family, or whether you have a YouTube channel. How easy it actually is to operate a drone, to manipulate a drone. And secondly, the regulatory requirements for the drone. Even if you're not operating the drone commercially, you still have to comply with FAA regulations concerning drone operations. They're pretty straightforward and not that complex. However, if you do ignore the law, you could easily get yourself in a bind. What this video is not, it is not a complete, all-inclusive training program for drone operations or to get you prepared for your drone pilot certification under Part 107 of the Federal Aviation Regulations. Plenty of YouTube videos out there for that. Avail yourself of some of those as I did, just to get up to speed on exactly what the test involved in the process. Not that complicated, but we simply can't cover them all here today. So you may be asking yourself, do I actually need a license to operate a drone, or do I need to register my drone with the FAA? Well, it depends. Don't you love those vague answers? If your drone is under 250 grams, it does not require a registration with the FAA. If it's more than that, you are required to do so. It's an online process. Our drone is the Mavic Mini. It's under the threshold, so it does not require registration. Does it require a license? It depends on your usage. If you generate any income with your drone, you are required to have a drone operator's license or unmanned aerial vehicle certification. And this will also include if you monetize your YouTube channel. Many people are doing that and they say, well, it's just a hobby, even though I get a few pennies a month out of it. Well, the FAA has decided that is a business-related operation and you have to have a drone license. Next question is, do you have to comply with federal aviation regulations? You betcha. This is an excerpt from the Washington sectional chart and covers the area that I live in. If you're going to fly a drone, it's probably a good idea to become familiar with what these markings are. It's kind of important. And fortunately, these documents are actually available for free in PDF format from the FAA. I'll put a link below. The first large area here is the Norfolk International Airport Class Charlie airspace. As you can see, it covers most of the populated areas of Virginia Beach and Norfolk. And the area is divided into several layers. Some areas you cannot fly a drone in, some you can. Next is the Oceana Naval Air Station Class D or Delta airspace, which goes from the surface to 2,500 feet above sea level, and operations of a drone is simply prohibited. I don't know about you, but if I had a drone that got sucked into the intake of an F-18 Hornet and it crashed, I don't happen to have an extra $30 million in my piggy bank to pay for it. Next is the Dam Neck Navy Base restricted area. Dam Neck Navy Base is home to one of the Navy's special warfare groups, you know, the SEALs, and much of what they do is highly classified, and they take a really dim view of anybody flying anything over their base or their training area. And if you did, even if it was an accident, you can probably expect a visit from people in black suits and dark sunglasses. So even if your drone operations don't require a license, it's probably a good idea to take the online classes, which many of them are free, and just to get up to speed on how to read the markings on these charts and have one available for the area that you're going to be operating your drone in. Don't be like the guy in Philadelphia who just got a letter from the FAA and a bill for $180,000 for violating multiple FAA regulations for his operations in the downtown Philly area. You know, it'd be very easy to be intimidated by all the regulations and restrictions on drone use and the fear that the FAA is going to come down on you like a load of bricks. But in reality, if you use some common sense and preparation, you're probably not going to have that happen. The FAA has teamed up with a private company called Kitty Hawk, and they've developed an app which is available for your smartphone, and it will connect to your phone's GPS, and when you activate it, it will show you where you're at in relation to airspace, which you're not supposed to fly in, and give you a basically you're good to go or you're not good to go. So that is very, very handy. And also, as long as you don't fly in national parks, national wildlife refuges, you're probably okay. Now, the basic rules to keep in mind are also, strangely enough, very similar to airplanes who fly under visual flight rules, general aviation airplanes. You have to have 3 miles visibility, you have to be at least 500 feet below a cloud deck, and the drone can't fly higher than 400 feet. So you may have to do some basic arithmetic to come up with how high you can fly if you have a low cloud deck. Next question is, how do you find the low cloud deck? So how do you determine what the cloud height is, what the visibility is, and what the wind speed is doing in your area? Well, it's pretty simple. There are over 4,000 general aviation airports in the United States. Only a couple of hundred are served by the air carriers that we're all familiar with, where we can go through TSA and get our stuff screened. I digress, but almost every small town has an airport. They're easy to find. If you look at a road map, you can probably find them on the road map. If you don't do that, you can probably find them on the aeronautical charts, the sectional charts. They're the little blue circles, and adjacent to the blue circle will be 2 sets of frequencies. One will be labeled AWOS, Automatic Weather Observation System. Also, you can just Google it. Google the small town like Chesapeake, Virginia. Google Chesapeake. You'll find several listings that provide the details for the local airport. And what you're looking for is simply the AWOS frequency and phone number. Unless you happen to have a 2-way radio for aircraft use, it's just easier to use your cell phone to call the AWOS. When I was flying airplanes, that was something we would do regularly before we took off to see what the local observations were. And so here's an example of what one sounds like for the local Chesapeake Airport.
Chesapeake Regional Airport. Automated weather observation 015-9er. Zulu weather wind 150 at 4 visibility 10 clear below 12,000 temperature 13.
This information is updated instantaneously by the system at the airport. It's probably more current than if you went online and found the local METAR and TAF reports for a given airport. METAR is the local observations, and the TAF is the terminal aerodrome forecast. It's just faster to use the phone, and you just call them up and find out. So right here in the backyard, I'm going to set up my DJI Mavic Mini and give you a demonstration on how it's set up, how to operate it, and basically show you how actual simple these things are to fly. One of the things I like about the Mavic Mini, it's just so simple to use. You press the start button. I like to start the video before I actually launch. That way I won't forget to turn the video recorder on. Launch the drone, and the Mavic Mini then hovers about 3 feet above the ground. Then you could use your control inputs to take it where you want to go. Left, right, forwards, backwards. Yaw to the left and right, and climb and descend. And you could do these functions simultaneously. But here we're only going about 3.5 feet above the ground. The camera even has an adjustable view, so you can point the camera up and down. Most drones have a feature that should you lose sight of your drone and not know where it's at, you press the return to home button and it immediately climbs to a predetermined altitude, goes over the launch location, and then descends and lands. For the Mavic Mini, the landing process is pretty simple. You simply lower the drone, and once it senses the ground below it, it goes into landing mode. And once the drone lands, it shuts off the propellers. Simply press the power button and you're done. Your smartphone becomes the control panel for your drone, to include operating the camera. Now here's an operational note. Prior to pressing the power off button on the drone, make sure the video camera is turned off. If not, the file could be corrupted and the video would be unusable. If this happens, put the micro SD card back into the drone, power the drone back up, and wait for about 10 seconds, and then power off again. So guys, I hope this video has helped shed some light on how easy it is to set up and operate a drone video platform using the technology that's available today. It's pretty easy to stay in compliance with the federal aviation regulations, and it's not that expensive if you choose to move forward and get your Part 107 commercial license so you could use it for more advanced activities. And to make that point even more dramatic, I'm going to enclose this video footage to wrap out today's video. Thanks guys, thanks for watching, you all take care. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you liked the video. Take care.